Good evening, guys. A little bit later with the reading for humanity this week, but nevertheless, I am here. What I have done today is I have my Archangel Power Tarot. Basically, I felt the need with these cards today, just the word power. The word power has really been strong for me, about that whole stepping into your power, reclaiming your power, whatever power means to you. It's going to be different. So I'm called on to cleanse the space. I've asked Spirit to come in and allow me to channel through what we need for the highest good of the collective this week. And similar to last week, I feel the need to pull, I think, 3 cards. The energy at play, the potential blocks, and then Spirit's advice. So I'm just going to shuffle through, see what comes up for us. I hope everyone has come out of the full moon feeling okay. That was on Friday. There's one card. I did get to see it, but it jumped out, but I am just still going to place it face down. But yeah, full moon energy, letting go of what no longer serves. Oh, look at that. Cards jumping everywhere today. And also allowing in the new freshness that you may have intended to experience on the new moon earlier in the month. Regardless, I'm going to stop rambling and get along with the reading. So basically, the first card that did jump out was Justice. And I did have a little giggle as that came through. Doing my readings in the evening, I can't have the best light, so sorry if that's a little bit blurry. But the Justice card, very, very relevant to the fact that we've just had our second full moon in Libra. Libra is the scales, all about balance. In the tarot, the Justice is about balance. It's bringing in to your life, your relationships, your careers, whatever obviously feels out of balance right now is what needs your attention. It could even be within yourself, balancing your masculine, feminine energies. Are you being too forward with your masculinity, energy, power, aggression? Are you being too nurturing and allowing people to walk over you by being in that feminine energy too much? These are all the things that we need to focus on within us and in our lives, basically. But the message on this card, fight for justice and equality. Rulings made in your favor, don't give up. Now, as I've said with the tarot deck, the Justice is all about balance. And you can even see in most commentary there's like a light and a dark. It's coming to terms with accepting what's not working, what is working, where can we reevaluate and make it work better for us. As I've said, we just had the second full moon in Libra, which is all about balance. So bringing into that is, that justice. It's starting to stand up, and this is where I feel they have directed me to the power today. That word, as I said from the beginning, power, is all about stepping back into your power and balancing out where isn't working. What are you giving to others and not allowing yourself to receive? Are you staying in your comfort zone because you're so afraid of what's next? It's really starting to channel into that, like, where in your life do you feel maybe you're a little bit victimized or that things aren't working for you? Are you sitting around and wallowing in that poor me, or are you getting out there and being like, this just doesn't work for me anymore? And surrendering. Last week was all about that surrender, that love. It's not about stepping into justice and blaming or wronging people for where you are. It's taking responsibility of where you are and what's going on, and just owning that power that you can balance the scales. Where are you giving too much of your energy? Where do you need to focus more? Do you have this big goal and this big dream, but yet you're over here, pondering around in whatever circumstances because it's just easier? You're almost like it's, like I said, I feel like there's a lot of fear circulating this week already with that, disbelief within here that we can do it. We can do what we aspire to do. We are deserving and worthy of what we dream of. And that's what, you know, like I said, with the balancing energy of the moon that's just gone, you know, that lasts a couple of days, and then we sort of go into that drift period where we just need to, you know, go within a little bit. This is the time to focus on balancing out what's not working, what needs attention, and, you know, putting your energy where you want to see result in your life, where you want to see happiness. And you know, I can feel this is so relevant to me as well, because as I've said before, I'm not immune to this. As much as I'd love to be some days, I'm not immune to this. I've got a lot of personal work to do. There's a lot of need for spiritual work and healing right now. And I know, coming from my own feelings, I guess you could say, is there is that little part of me that's like, I'm so sick of doing the work. Like, I feel like I'm constantly working on something and it's just kind of not yielding results. And, you know, that's that victim mentality. It's that lack of balance, because when we're balanced, when we feel like we're following our path and aligned, it shouldn't be. You'll come up against challenges. It's a given. Well, that's life. If we had a straight, narrow path with no challenges, we'd never grow. It would be easy. And as much as some days we want that, it's not what we came here to do. But it is also balancing that head and heart. You know, what are you saying as opposed to what you're feeling? Do they match? Or are you, you know, when it comes to relationships, for example, and this is pulled from my own experience, you know, your heart might be yearning and believing that this is something. Meanwhile, your head's going, I don't give a shit, like whatever. And that's where that imbalance is, because it's not aligned. It's not aligning with, you know, your heart and your soul and your mind need to start to come into balance. And if your external world seems to be pretty on par, then it's time to look at this connection. And, you know, it's just that it's bringing into your world what you dream and aspire to have. You know, it's that justice of not allowing people to control your heart and your direction, and instead, you know, bringing in the people and the things that do help you and removing the people and the things that do not. You know, finding the balance between looking after yourself and spending time with your friends and your family, and, you know, dedicating some time to your work and your finances and your leisures. You know, what makes you happy? It's time to balance out that doing what you love and sort of doing the little bits of what you have to do to, you know, to bring it together. So the energy at play this week is really about, you know, finding that balance for you and for you. Like I said, power, you know, power and you are the words they're just throwing at me. It's, you need to step back into your power. That's the message, plain and simple. They just, yeah, that's all, yeah, that's it. You need to step into your power. You know, and they're screaming that at me as much as they are at you, so hopefully that helps. Now, obviously you're going to bring up the blocks, potential blocks, I should say. And as I mentioned, when I say the word blocks or challenges or roadblocks, it's never a negative situation. It's simply that there's something you need to have happen to either align you back on your path or challenge you to expand out of this place of comfort or expand you into that place of manifestation of what you've been asking for. So it's never, yeah, they just wanted that little disclaimer thrown in there. It's never a negative thing that they're doing deliberately, you know, to punish you. It's simply that they've given you this task, and if you're dilly-dallying on and off your path constantly, not making decisions, putting things into other people's hands, they're going to throw these at you until you decide that you're going to step into your power and you're going to go your direction regardless of what anyone else says, thinks, or does. I almost feel like being a little bit, it's time to be almost a little bit selfish. But very similar to last week's reading with the surrender and release, not from a place of anger or frustration or hate, from a place of love. You know, you've come here to experience your best life. The people around you have come here to experience their best life. And we need to respect that of each other. And rather than believing that people are hurting us and punishing us and getting in our way and whatever else, breaking our hearts, and they're not. We're all in this together, but it's up to us to find that balance. So anyway, back to, we have King of Michael. So his message, wisdom and objectivity are important now. Stay in your integrity, a situation that calls for honest and open communication. So what I always love about these cards is that color always jumps out. Now, as you can see, hopefully, behind Michael's head there, you have this beaming ray of yellow. So very relevant to the solar plexus chakra, which is your power center. It's your confidence, it's your joy, it's your belief system that anything is possible if you want it bad enough. It's that willingness to just go for it and not fear. So, you know, like I said, it very much, again, that power spot. But basically, I feel like what this card is saying to me is virtually, if you don't want to step up and speak your truth, if you don't want to step into your heart and go for what you want, people are going to keep controlling your outcomes. And that is merely the message. It's simply that you feel like if you're doing things to keep the peace, to keep other people happy, to not be judged, to not fear of what happens next, you're keeping yourself in a place of lack and victim and hurt because you're not owning your truth and you're not stepping into that power and saying to the people around you, that doesn't work for me. I'm sorry, but, you know, I know for a fact that my biggest fear is always losing people. I feel like when I find this great friendship, this great fun, this great energy, I feel like it's meant to be something in my life. And if it starts to show flags of not working, I fear losing that because it was fun. But then I also have come to a real learning curve in my journey that I cannot keep fearing losing people, because if they're not meant to be in my life, they're not going to be in my life. And that is something I have to accept. They've played their role, no matter how long it's for. And this is the thing. Wisdom, objectivity, integrity, authenticity, like this is you as a person. This isn't you for that guy or your boss or your parents, your friends. You are you for you. And like I said, there's so much yellow and green in this card. It's about, you know, that power center, that heart. It's listening to your own heart. And the challenges that will present themselves this week are going to come merely from listening to your head more than your heart and your soul. If something doesn't feel right, it's probably not. If something makes you smile when you think about it, it feels right. It's not about feeling, sorry, I mucked that up. It's not about, what are the words they're trying to hear me? It's not about seeing, it's for feeling. It's very much there's a, sorry. Just got so caught up, I've sort of lost the communication. It's about going with how it feels, not how it looks. That's what they needed to say. Go by how it feels, not how it looks. It might look like it's going to be the biggest disaster in the world, but if it feels right in here, go for it. Go for it. If everything around you is still meant to be a part of that situation, it will be. If it's not, it's not. But this is what's going to challenge you this week. Do you fear letting something go because you are comfortable as opposed to expanding your opportunity by letting it fall away? Your heart and soul knows. It's lining up balancing out all three, the Trinity, mind, body, soul, and coming together and working as one. Communicate how you feel. It's just a matter of stepping up again into that power, not from a place of anger, not from a place of frustration, but from a place of love, and saying, this does not serve me, and I'm choosing to walk away. Or vice versa, this feels right for me, so I am proceeding with this course. It's going to be different for everyone, but that's pretty well the message. Go by how it feels, not how it looks. Bring that balance back in. Work with it. Your heart and soul knows it came here with the divine plan. But the more we think logically and the more we go by what we see in our physical reality, is likely that it's going to keep us going like this. And, you know, this is such a power of trust right now. I feel like there's just such a image of surrender. If I can bring the image to what I see, it's literally that. And to me, that's just trusting completely that when it feels right, it's right. And the physical is just an illusion to where you're actually heading. So feel it rather than try to see it. Tap into that inner wisdom. It knows. And if you want to continue to hold back and be fearful because of other people or things or situations or your comfort zone, the harder time you're going to have bringing this into balance. So that is the potential challenge of the week. Now, lucky last, we have Spirit's advice. And I like them. I do. Spirit's advice, 7 of Michaels. So we've had Michael show up twice, and you know, there's a lot of blue in the first card as well. Very much about communication, very much about protection, clearing negative energies, very much about the throat chakra. So, you know, all very relevant to what's happening this week. The 7 of Michaels. So this is Spirit's advice, taking on board the energy at play is bringing our lives into balance. Potential blocks and challenges this week will be not listening to our inner wisdom and going by what we think is right as opposed to what we feel. And lucky last, Spirit's advice, there is a better course of action available to you. Working alone may not be the best answer. Review all the details. So again, if you can see this card clearly, you can see one side of the card is quite dark and dimsy, like a dark forest. One side is full of green. Actually, yeah, it is a lot of green. A little bit of yellow there, but it's clear, it's pretty, it's like the garden path. And I think I had it in the reading earlier. Again, as a disclaimer, I don't actually know what I'm really saying until I listen to this back. So, but I have felt that I've said somewhere along this reading already that you have to make the decision. You can't keep leaving, you know, your life in the hands of others. And, you know, that includes the universe. That includes your spirit guides, your angels. Because I know last week as well, you know, they were saying they're sitting there waiting to help you. But until you decide and realize that, you know, this path of holding on to things because it's comfortable and it's fun and it's easy and you don't have to shift, it's giving you everything you don't want. And I say this with such passion because I'm right here with you. I'm right here in this position with you guys right now. And that's why I laugh because, you know, like I said, like, I'm not immune to this. I don't have the answers. I'm not perfect. And like, none of us are. But we're in this together. But at the same time, we have to be true to ourselves. This advice is telling you, highly suggesting to you, there are better things. There are better things out there. There are bigger doors, there are bigger opportunities, there is more abundance, there is more love, there is more devotion and dedication, and there's so much more than where we currently are. But we have to choose. You know, I feel like this fork in the road has been showing up for so many weeks now, and it's just, like I said, they're very adamant. Like, there's so many of us standing here. This way, that way. What if that's wrong? What if that's wrong? That one feels right, but this one seems more logical. There's so much dilly-dallying, and it's constantly taking us like this on our path. When we're aligned, when we're connected, and we just go for what we want out of love and dedication and belief that we deserve it, our path should be like this. Sure, there might be a few stones and things in the way that we have to, you know, kind of push out of the way and whatever else, but they are literally showing us this straight path is available. But we're constantly here. We are sitting in this place of indecision, of fork in the road. What's the right thing? This feels good right now. What if I take that chance and it doesn't work out? You know, I almost feel like, not fear. You know, a very strong message now is like, don't fear failure. Don't fear failure. Actually, they just want me to leave it at that. Don't fear failure. Step into that wisdom. Take back your power and get going on that pathway. I also feel that, you know, they just want you to know that there is definitely love and support. There's very much going to be feelings of grief and fear and hurt and possibly anger and jealousy and, you know, all these shadow emotions that we're very much not always fond of. But it's accepting that where we are now is where we are. Where we want to be is where we can be. But we have to take a road. And we have to believe that it will all be okay. But sometimes that clearing, that death, rebirth, that, you know, letting things fall away so we can embrace the new, it does create a feeling of loss, a feeling of hurt, a feeling of grief. And that is also a part of us that we have to accept and honor when it appears. But in fearing that hurt and that pain and that grief and that loss only keeps us here. Because at the end of the day, if we jump straight into that place, the quicker we can heal from it, and then the quicker we can go. Balance. You came here and you are deserving of the life you want to live. Do not let others dictate how that looks. Do not let society, beliefs, fears, doubts get in the way of how that looks to you. Be honest. Your soul knows your path. You know, get out of here, get into here, or better yet, bring this into a whole connection. Choose the road and know that there's a better outcome. There's always a better outcome. Because you have the courage and the bravery to step into that unknown without fear, or with fear, but you're doing it anyway. You're jumping in, you're taking a leap of faith, and you are saying, this is what I want, I'm gonna go for it, and I surrender to everything that's out of my control. Take back your power. Go with how it feels, not how it looks, and make a decision. I hope, I'm going to actually post the cards in the comments as well so you can get a better look at them, but I really hope that's helped you guys. It's actually really helped me. I was going to put off this reading all day and I just didn't, because I know it's something that actually makes me feel good. And, you know, I knew once I got into it, it would make me feel good, and it has. And it's also given me a lot of, you know, personal insight that I've needed to hear as well. Like I said, as much as I do this for the collective, a lot of the time it's coming through for me as well. So I'm here with you guys. And, you know, I believe in you because I believe in me. And I don't always have days when I do, but when I do, I am on fire. Because I'm tired of living my life believing and seeing what it should be and, you know, what belief systems should and shouldn't be. And I get to the point where I've had enough, but I've also had enough of getting to the point of where I've gotten to the point of having enough. It's time to balance out who you are and get on your path. You came here with purpose, you came here with reason, and now it is time to follow that through. So, so sorry if that got a little preachy there, guys, but as always, if something resonated, great. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below what possibly gave you insight this week from this reading. If it didn't, no hard feelings. I always thank you for taking the time of being part of my community. You know, sometimes it's just the fact that you're not ready for that yet, and that's okay. So I'm going to say goodbye. And I just thank you guys for tuning in. I really hope that helps. Also, I'll be back next week. Bye.